Hello guys, today we'll be taking a look at another scenario where civilization has restarted. So this is going to be a very interesting episode since we already seen a lot of stuff happen. But first we're going to be focusing on Rome, and then we're going to see the UK-ish kind of country, Then Rome is just going to have a rebellion in the upper, northern UK islands, and you're gonna come up and see them unite right here. So now all of the UK is united. That is pretty good for, I don't know if that's a good thing for Rome or a bad thing for Rome. I'm pretty sure it's a good thing. And we're gonna see another rebellion. We're gonna see new explorers go in and fill in the rest of almost all of Ireland. Really. Now we're gonna zoom in on Fred, see another fresh rebel, and they're gonna start expanding. But Rome doesn't want them to be a country. They're like, hey, we don't like you, and Roman troops are just gonna push the French back. Say, hey, no, you're not gonna have that, all that land. France gets mad. They say, yes, we are, and French people and more people start, going up in rebelling. They start taking more land, and they're like, hey, yeah, more people stand up, and there's really nothing real, because all these people getting up at one time, and that's where a lot of population is, and Rome's cooked. So Rome force, for this country, they're like France-ish. France. And this video is gonna probably be longer than any other video I have made. But anyway, French are gonna get all of that. And then, so now they just lost massive territory and size, but they're still, pretty strong, pretty decent. And we're gonna see actually some countries in it's gonna see Greece take all these islands over here, over there, solidifying their country. But then we're gonna see a rebellion up here in Albania, Montenegro-ish. And then we're gonna see a country in Albania, and they're just gonna take all of that. Next, we're gonna see a country in Bulgaria, and they're gonna really take a lot of the old Greece territory, which sucks for Greece. But Greece is still gonna get all that land right there, so went in there. Okay, so we're looking back at Rome as they face another rebellion. Why do we keep getting green countries? Now, this rebellion is going to be in Africa. They're a pretty little country, so it doesn't really matter. And you're just going to see them rebel. Because they don't have mind to care. You're going to see a rebellion right there, and they're gonna look like a Bulgarian kind of country, and they're definitely from Denmark, so they're gonna pretty much suck. Yeah, they look like a Bulgarian-ish kind of country, and now you're gonna see a country in Denmark, because dependence in Rome is really collapsing. Are pretty big, trapping France from any more expansion or able to declare war. And they're gonna just take a lot of Germany-ish land. Qualified their power, but not really Germany. They only took some of Germany. So next we see another rebellion on the other side. Country. They're not gonna take that much land, surprisingly. Surprisingly though. And you're gonna see another country, the gold team, expand all through the southern part of Rome and probably take the rest of this whole area. Think about it. The gold team now looks like a Romanian country. Green team gonna expand a little more in Europe. Now we have a bunch of European nations. We're probably just gonna see this nation fill in the rest of Rome land. And now we have something looking like this. Rome just faced a ton of rebellion, and now they're probably cooked. So we pay attention. Oopsies, I messed up, but we ignore that. Gonna pay attention to Cyan, which they are going to go to war with the green team. I did say this might happen in the last episode. If you're one of those 2 viewers I viewed, you're just gonna see them really just expand more into Green's southern land. Cyan still is a pretty powerhouse country since all that land they have. Just gonna pretty much take all of that land right there. And you're like, okay, we don't care, have it. Because their troops aren't really big. They're just gonna become Nordic country, and they look like a Findelicious country. So that's a huge win for Cyan as they kick them out. We're probably gonna see Cyan team expand a little more, or not. Let me see. What should I do? I'm just gonna pay attention. Another rebellion starts in like Cyan's northern part of the country. The part they don't really care about. Since they don't care about it so much, they're just gonna let them have all that land. Because I mean, like, you know, we're focusing more on the bigger land, you know. That land is trash, sad, and garbage. They're just gonna take all of that land right there. Right there, and yeah, so just look at the map for real 1 second. And we're gonna probably go back to Asia. Well, you're just gonna really see them, you know. We're just gonna take a look at the map real quick. And as we look, we're just gonna see all these countries, and let's see back as we see another rebellion happen in the Cyan team, which this nation right over here is gonna take all that land right there. Cyan doesn't really care since they're like a powerhouse. They're more focused on the free land in Russia, but that could have just been some valuable land, and they just lost it all. So with that, you're just gonna see them do a little bit of expansion. They get all that, and now Cyan team just lost all of that. Now you're just gonna see Cyan team expand a little bit more up north, and now Russia can really be anybody's land. You're just gonna see them expand a little bit more north, and you're gonna see this nation expand. They don't really want to touch borders with such strong nation as Cyan, since they could probably lose badly. So they're just gonna be cautious, watch out where they expand, not touch borders with Cyan. They're only gonna let Cyan touch borders with them. So now we focus on the red team. Let me just fill in these more areas over here. They're probably just gonna expand more down in Egypt. Now we focus back in Rome, and as you see in Rome, their government is basically definitely gonna rebel because they don't like the Roman treatment. They don't like they just let these rebels happen, and they didn't even fight. So you're just gonna quickly see them expand. The government not really doing anything. They're just gonna absolutely get destroyed out here. And you're gonna see the new government take form. Now, after this government, the country is basically just gonna fully collapse after this. Because they really can't, do anything, because their government's gone and everything's gone. They basically just lost everything. So we'll just see a bunch of different rebellions outside of this country. We have a Sicily-ish country or the Kingdom of Naples. And now we'll get another country, Papal States-ish, Rome. They're in Rome. See, you're just gonna see them expand and come up a little bit more, take those islands. And yeah, so you're just gonna see them, get to the vibe, get used to it. It's not over. You're gonna see them expand a little more out the government too. And you're gonna see another rebellion happen. So with that rebellion, this peak team looking like Florence a little bit. Gonna take every land up here, and right there in that upper island. Meanwhile, another rebellion happens, and you're gonna see a country right here, pretty close to Nepal's country or the country in the UK. You're just gonna see them split those two islands, and yeah, I think we're done with Rome. You're also gonna see Rome still exists, just in their Egyptian land, but they're also gonna face another rebel in there, so it's kind of tough for them. Yeah, so they're just gonna take all that land right there, that green part of land. Now Rome is totally extinct. They just collapsed in all this one episode. And you're gonna see the green team, a little bit expansion up into Finland and other areas, trying to really get used to that feeling of their land. And they're just gonna try to fill in all this land, but I don't really think it's gonna work. They get up in they get up into there, and they're just gonna expand into more Finnish land up into the Nordics, and they're just gonna expand a lot into the Nordics, which is good, but that starts another rebellion because the people there are so much different. It's gonna be a close color, and we're just gonna see them easily come up and destroy, and you're gonna see another rebellion. Actually, I just think this is a better country, not a rebellion. I just think it's a better color. And you're just gonna see them expand all the way into the Nordics. Like, they're gonna take all that Nordic land they once had, and the green team is just gonna face defeat. They say, nah, we not fighting back, there's no point. And then next up, we're gonna see explorers go too far out and create their own country up into here. So now you're gonna see this own little country. They look like Sweden, or they could be Norway, but they're just gonna stay strong. Take all that land right there and there, fill out the rest of the Nordics, and do their thing. So now another country forms. Of course, explorers again, and they come up really dark red color, and they say, hey, they do some purchases, and people just say, okay, sure, why not? And they just let them have that land. Like, they say, you can have it, we don't really care. And so now this is what the map looks like, and they're just gonna actually take that whole coastline right there, make it a little bigger. So they're a very coastline-ish nation. Now it looks like they're eating them. And this is the 13 minutes of the video. It actually went pretty much farther than what my usual time was. But we're just gonna see this bluish team, close to cyan color, expand more upward and quickly expanding pretty fast. And you're also gonna see this India team expand pretty close too. They're gonna be pretty close by their borders and just expand upward mostly. And so they're just doing their thing. They're expanding upward. They're pulling in a lot of land, and you're just gonna see them kind of surround them. Not really, but close to surrounding them. You're gonna see this green team expand a little more, and they come up. They get all of this land right here. So they're exerting their dominance, they're expanding, they're doing their thing. And they're just going to expand and kind of try to cut off all of the Indian team. So we don't really get any land. Expand some northward. And we're going to see the pink team again get some more land. And this is pretty nice. The map's looking pretty nice. They expand. They touch borders with the Cyan team now. So they're not going to expand that much into the Cyan team. You know, they're not going to cut down their whole eastern front. Because what is Cyan wants that land. So now they're just going to keep their expanding and keep doing what they do. Oopsies, I messed up there. And they're just going to expand rapidly around the coastal line of the pink team. And they're going to take all that southern land that pink didn't want to get. And now they're pretty close. And they're just going to cut off that team entirely. And they meet up with the green team, which they didn't even know existed until now. So they're like, oh, hey, you. And they're like, didn't you fight a war with the red team or something? And that's the only way they knew them or kind of knew them. But yeah, any other way they wouldn't have known them. And we're just going to see in the Pakistan team just expand a little more. And they're actually going to cut off. They actually risked it. I mean, they still have a little more expansion they could do. And that's going to start a war. And they're going to start pushing into the offensive front, taking that long strip of land. And they're just going to expand a little bit more. Now, this war is going to take a long part of the video. And you're going to see that. And now the Pakistan team says, hey, why would you do that? Now we're going to try to expand. You're going to see them rapidly expand into that western front. And now you're seeing them go closely, and I mean very close to that capital right there. And they're going to try to encircle that capital because you can see them closing in on the coastline. Try to cut them off of that area. But will it work? Let's see. Anyways, going back to the war, you're going to see this line team continue to expand their troops into Pakistan, both going on the offensive side, but their team is closer to the capital. They're going to kick them out of this side so they can reunite with their land. And they're not going to push them out all the way, but pretty much. And then Cyan's going to get involved in this war, and they're going to team up with the Indian team. And that would probably make Red get involved into this war. And you're just going to see the Cyan team do what they do best and take all that land. Hold up, let me just make it a little better. Take all that land up there in the in that little peninsula part. And just like I would have said, Red team is going to get involved and start pushing their troops up and pushing their troops up into Pakistan. And now Pakistan team is pretty much surrounded on every side, with their capital being pretty close to the Cyan team and Red team. So that means India team is really just going to push their troops back out, try to kick them all out, and with the help of the Red, they're definitely going to make it. And then Red continues their offensive, going to try to get closer to that capital in the northern front. And then you're going to also see Cyan expand a little bit on another front. Now they're really close to their capital, which could be bad news. Cyan team right now is going to expand all the way into there, and I think the green team is just forced to give up right now. They're pretty much surrounded on every side. That's exactly what they're going to do. They're just going to give up, and let's look at the peace treaty. So with the green team giving up, let's just look at this peace treaty. First, they're going to take Red team is going to take all of that land over there, but not all of it, just a little bit more. And then you're going to see green team get that land back. You're going to see them get a little bit of land. They're going to get the northern land that Cyan took. But Cyan is still going to get pretty much a lot of land. And so is India going to take all that land. That Pakistan is going to get some of that land. Some of that land from India, but not all of it, of course. And, let me just even that out. And now Cyan will definitely have to do better expansion, to even this out, I'll say. Like that. And now we'll finally see the final expansion right there, what India is doing. And then we'll just see India take all that land right there. So now they're pretty strong and pretty stable, better than what they originally had. And now let's look at the land. And finally, let's just see Cyan take that land that they took from Pakistan, and probably have to do something about that peninsula. And India is gonna join the Arabian Alliance, making one of the 3 superpowers, and India is gonna get that land. Expand a little upward. That's gonna make so one of the 3 superpowers in Asia alliance up, which is pretty dangerous for every European country. Well, yeah, since Cyan has just started entering the, Asian side. And I think we're just going to look at the map, and I think we'll do a couple of stuff, but this video might be coming to an end soon, so oopsies, I messed up. And finally, we'll just finish it off in Greece right here with one more war starting, and we'll just see them try to take these lands, these little islands. So you're gonna see them invade all of this right here, right there. You're gonna see them invade all of that right there and get a little more into this Greek country. Now Bulgaria is actually cooking them. So Greece is cooked, their capital is down there, and what can they do? They lost all their islands, but they called troops to come back up, and they're actually pushing back. They push back Bulgarian forces, take up that northern peninsula, and just a little bit more. Since they're coming up right there, they're going to start their invasion on the northern front, and Bulgaria's capital is kind of cooked. Since they're right there, so they're going to tell Bulgaria to give up as Greece troops don't stop. Well, actually, they're going to try to come back and crush those troops. They're going to expand a little bit, but it's not really a lot. And the blue team's easily able to get troops back up, expand, take all of that, and try to expand a little bit more into Bulgaria. And a peace treaty will be made with Bulgaria losing a pretty good amount of land. And let's see what this peace treaty has for us today. And we're just gonna zoom out and, look at the map. Hold up, let me fix this real quick. These islands. We're just gonna zoom out, look at the map, look at all the different countries, and I think that's the end of today's video. Thanks for watching.